England was the Arkansas of Europe. It was the backwater armpit that nobody would intentionally go to. For the record, Arkansas is actually really pretty. But you know what I mean. It's the part that when you think, geez, I want to go somewhere, it's probably not the first thing to pop into your head. By the way, I was listening to an NPR story the other day, and they were talking about Kansas tourist industry. There's a Kansas tourist industry? What is that? And here's another field of corn. It stretches as far as you can see in a completely flat plain that used to be filled with wildlife and natural plants, but we wiped that out. And now we do monoculture. That's not sustainable because there's not enough water or herbicide to kill the ragweed. Anyway, fine, whatever. Who cares, right? Just because they're going to use the ingredients in Agent Orange to kill ragweed, I'm sure that's no reason for concern. You know, the stuff we use in Vietnam, where all those vets came back with disorders. I had a professor, he had to go, he's a Vietnam vet, he had to go get a shot from the VA once a month because Agent Orange took out his autonomic nervous system and his heart and lungs wouldn't pump unless he got the shot. So no concern there because we have the ingredients. So what's the big deal? You get a shot once a month. What if he forgets? He dies. That's oh well. Easy come, easy go. It was just humans we were dumping Agent Orange on. No big deal. And everything else. So, Elizabeth has a problem. Her problem is England doesn't have anything worth trading for. I mean, it has wool. But the problem with wool, I mean, I'm wearing wool right now because it's fashion. It's my way of showing that I've made the grade or something. So I spent a silly amount of money on stupid wool clothing in a place that's 103 degrees. But if, you know, I don't wear the uniform, I don't get the accolades. It's just how it is. But this wool isn't like the wool back then because we now know how to make it better. And we can wash it now. Back then, you couldn't wash wool because if you washed it, it would shrink, which would make it so you couldn't fit in it anymore, which meant you couldn't wash it. So you stunk like hell because your clothing was filled with odors. And then you itched. So you just walked around scratching yourself the whole time, smelling like you hadn't showered in 7 years. So nobody would want that because you could get cotton and you could wash cotton and it wouldn't shrink. I mean, it'd shrink a little bit, but not a lot. You could totally wash it multiple times and still wear it. You'll be fine. And then there was linen and silk. There are alternatives that were abundant on the planet, just not abundant in England because England was too poor to afford linen and you couldn't grow cotton there anyway because the environment's wrong. And so the English had a problem